What's up guys? Today a heavily requested video on how I use Bookmap when I am day trading futures inside the topstep combine every single day. Now if you don't know what Bookmap is, you've probably seen it. I'll flash a picture. This is what you've seen inside my tweets, on social media and other forums like that, and in the Discord I've definitely posted a bunch about it. It's a visual way for you to see level 2 data while you're doing any sort of trading. Now, as you know, the trading I'm doing right now is with topstep. I'm doing great with it, still working my way through step 1, guys. If you are interested in topstep or want to learn more about topstep, I will leave a link down in the description below explaining what topstep is, if you've heard about it but you're not really sure, and you could also get a discount using my link if you want to try it out. Try trading with a prop firm, try trading with other people's money, get yourself the disciplined set of rules. Geez, in the last 2 months that I've been doing it inside topstep, I've become a better trader, and I've also been humbled greatly, as the people in the Discord also know. So right here, guys, this is a picture of Bookmap right now. It is currently 7:30 at night on the Thursday before this comes out. I'm not going to get it out tonight. It'll come out tomorrow. The markets are open, the futures market. Now you can use this to trade stocks, futures, crypto, whatever you're into. I personally just trade the ES, which is why you'll see up here the ES. And when I first started using topstep, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to use it. So that's why in this video I want to show you specifically how I used it inside a trade to be successful. When I first started using Bookmap, I thought that I would be using it for my entries and my exits, and I thought it was, once again, going to be like one of those like golden shrines, those golden tickets, those things that was really going to make me a great trader. And just like anything, I've realized that it's just a tool, right? It's not necessarily necessary for you. I know some traders that just don't like it, frankly, but I personally love the visualization. And there's some things that I really like, as opposed to just looking at the dome or the dom, or I think it's dom. I don't know. You can tell me down in the comments below if you think it's dome or dom. But essentially, the thing that I liked about it first, right off the bat, is just the visualization of the heat maps, meaning the different colors are going to indicate different limit orders that are sitting on the books currently. All right. Now, if they are above the price, they are going to be sells. And if they are below the price, there's going to be buys. And these, what they are limit orders sitting on the book. And when you look at the dome, you can see those blocks sitting over there. But for me to see them lined out, it was hard for me. It's always the dome's jumping around with different price volume. It's here and it's static, and everything around it moves. If you could zoom in, I'll show you, because the markets are moving really slowly right now with volume. These bubbles right here, and you can set them up as candles. It's so customizable. What these are doing right now is everything that's a buy volume is going to be in green, and everything that's a red volume is going to be, everything that's a sell volume is going to be in red. And the bigger those bubbles are, the more volume there is. And like I said, it's customizable. You can make those bubbles really big. You can make them really small. I will change them according to the day and the volume. You could also change the contrast of the map, really to eliminate maybe some smaller orders and really just look at those bigger orders. But that was really the first thing I loved about it, the visualization of being able to see that static line that was out there that could possibly act as support, resistance, or as a price magnet. But the other thing that the dome doesn't tell you is what orders were on the books previously. So for example, like right now, if we come up here and we look at this price action of 3,927.50, there's really nothing there. But I can see once upon a time, there were a ton of orders that were sitting on the books right there. There was a ton of sell orders. And this is very useful as you go through the trading day. You can see where big blocks were. You could see where there was a ton of buy liquidity, sell liquidity, and you can just see in the past what's been there. Like for example, if I was in real time, I would see this right down here, right? I would see this order block down here, and you can zoom in and we can take a look as small as you want to go, guys. But right now we could see at 39.20, we got 59 blocks sitting on the books. But I can now look back and say, well, that really hasn't hit the books that long ago, right? So it's not that strong of an order. It hit the books right here. But just below it, we can see there's probably a little bit more strength down below. When I zoom out and I see down here around 39.10, there's been a ton of buyers sitting on the books for a long amount of time. So one thing the Dome doesn't tell you, it doesn't tell you past history. It doesn't tell you once those blocks are filled on the Dome, it's gone, right? But now I can see where liquidity was eaten through, where it was bought up, and things like that. That's the one thing I really, really love, that past knowledge. Now, what I'm really using this for, I'm not so much using them for entries and exits per se. On my chart, when I am using TradingView, and I'll show you today, like the charts that I'm using and all the confirmations and stuff, when I'm inside the topstep Kanban trying to pass this damn thing, I will show you exactly. But what I'm doing is I'm using this more, and this is where the biggest benefit has come. If you are a trader, I'm speaking to you, if you are a trader that ditches winners too quickly or moves your stop and to minimize the amount of loss, and then you get stopped out and then it flies up in the favor that you thought it was going to go, and you're like, why didn't I just leave my stop? That is where Bookmap has really, really helped me, because I'll enter a trade and right where I want to move a stop, I will say, like, I'm not going to move my stop. The liquidity, the buy liquidity is still down here. That's where support might act. So look, like for example, right now, let's say I had my stop down here at 39.18 or 39.18, yeah. And it started to climb a little bit, and I moved my stop up to here, 39.20. Well, right now I'm in this void where there's not a lot of orders on the books, so the price is able to move through those zones a little more quickly. So I know now by looking at the Bookmap, keep your stop in the right spot. You chose it there. Here's where there's a ton of buy liquidity. Let's hold tight. The same holds true on the other side. If I say entered right here, I might say to myself, and when it starts to go in my favor, oh my God, P&L, oh my gosh. But now looking at the Bookmap, I say, all right, look, it's got a nice clear path up to the next zone of possible resistance. Let's hold that trade a little bit longer. So it really has helped me hold on to that trade. Like, for example, what we just saw live in real time, we saw some buy pressure and there was a ton of orders on the books. These volumes ate all of those sellers up. So now I'm like, okay, if I'm in this trade, I can say, looks like we still have a nice clear path. I can hold this trade now all the way really up to here, up around 39.27. There's no need for me to close my position here when I see this. I'm going to wait probably for a little bit of a pullback, and then it's probably going to continue on its way as long as I start to see some green bubbles enter the market. And when I don't see those green bubbles right away, I don't get spooked and I don't close my position, because my stop is still down here at 39.20, the next spot where I see a ton of liquidity on the books. It can slide down through here, no problem, with this ton of upward pressure. In this case, if I was in a trade, say I got in this trade long right here, I would not be exiting this trade until we came up here and started to flirt with this sell liquidity, or unless we came back down pretty sharply into that buy liquidity. Now, I took screenshots from today's trade. I will put them on the digital whiteboard. We'll draw all over it, and I'll show you exactly what my mindset was. All right, guys. So first, here is the actual trade that I took. You can see the long position here. This happened at about 9:32 and change. And then here was the sell right here. That happened at about 9:39. So this was roughly an 8-minute trade. Okay, it was 3 contracts. So we had a +3 and then we had a -3. I took them all off. I tend to pull off my entire trade. I'm not somebody that likes to scale out. It's just not something that I really, really do. If you have a really, really strong conviction of why I should be doing that, then I go for it. You can let me know. But this trade right here was good for 400 after commissions and everything inside topstep Combine, $476.40. And like I said, not real money. I am trading inside a combine. I am trading with topstep's money. What you can see on the chart, just because I know some people ask, the blue line, guys, is a 9 EMA. The white line is VWAP. The purple line is a 200 SMA. And then these are just value areas, high, point of control, and low. All right. I'm using pretty much the EMAs as just trend confirmation. I don't use them for entries and exits, even though I exited right on the 200, but that wasn't the reason I exited. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Pretty much using those for trend confirmations, the same as VWAP, and the same right down here is the MACD, using just standard settings on the MACD. So we can see I took this trade. My stop is going to be pretty much right below this. Value areas do change. So value area low was not there at this particular time. And when I took that screenshot, that's exactly where it was. But it was somewhere down in here, and I'll show you exactly where it was on the Bookmap. So the Bookmap helped me determine exactly where I wanted to put my stop. I stayed in this trade. And like I said, this was old Brad. When I saw this and it went up here and we double topped and then it came back down to here, I would have closed my trade and said, man, this is going to flush out. I would have taken a small stop and I would have been out of there. But because of Bookmap, I was able to stay in the trade, and you'll see in a minute. And then it went with me. And for the same reasons I was able to stay in, I got spooked by the Bookmap, which is why I actually exited. And that spook seemed to be the right play because, as we could see, this thing reversed and it flushed down to pretty much 3,900 for the better half of the morning before a little bit of a late afternoon rally, I guess you will. So let's now look at the Bookmap, and I'll explain this chart and we'll look at it in terms of the Bookmap. Before we get to the Bookmap, guys, I also want to show you what else I am looking at for other confirmations. This is pretty much my primary screen. We're on the 1 minute. All right, we are on the 1 minute. Here is market open, okay, right here. So what I was thinking and why I wanted to go long, there was an uptrend in the overnight markets. So the bell rings and we have nice strength out of the open. Now, I tend not to trade the first couple minutes, but like I said, I'm looking for confirmations, and there was a lot of confirmations at hand for me. There was news overnight, and really the reason I was willing to play this so early in the morning was this gap, and gaps tend to at least want to try to get filled. So when I saw this gap and at the open we saw some strength, I was playing the move right up to possibly close this gap. And it didn't happen, obviously, but because of things like Bookmap, I was able to avoid this coming up and doing this, which it also often does in the morning. We'll generally see a little bit of a push or a little bit of a flush and then a reverse, and that's fine. Like I said, this was just something that I wanted to try early in the morning with this strength, with the uptrend overnight, and with this huge gap to fill on the SPY. Okay, so here we are inside the Bookmap. And pretty much this was when the market opened, and right out of the open, we saw some strength. As soon as I saw this green volume, that was going to be my entry, and that's when I went long with my contracts. And you can see this liquidity down here at 39.20. This is where I decided right now that liquidity popped up right here, and I said, okay, this is where my stop is going to be. I'm going to put my stop right here where this liquidity is. If we start to approach that liquidity, I'm going to make sure that I am out of this trade. And we also saw this top side here. Now, when I'm looking here, I'm saying, okay, this is going to act as a price magnet. We are going to get continued strength, which we see. When I see this, what I want to see to continue movement for the upside is I want to see a large amount of buyers. That didn't necessarily happen. We got rid of that liquidity and it started to pull back a little bit, which it tends to do. But right away, that liquidity came right back on the books. This is where I would have been like, no dice. And I would have moved my stop and been screwed. This is what I was talking about. When that reversal happened and it came back down here, this is where I would have got scared and gotten out of this trade. But I kept strong and I kept my stop down here. The other reason why I was okay with this is because as it was coming down, there was still pieces of liquidity that were still popping onto the books to keep it from just free falling. So I knew that if we could continue to get these buyers to keep putting in some pressure, we might get that push back like we wanted to. It came back down, it kind of consolidated and stayed balanced for a couple minutes. I kept my stop right here. I knew I was fine. And then what we saw was all of these buyers start to enter the market and start to push back up into these blocks that were up here. We ate through a little bit of liquidity, and here I see that green dot. That means that we are taking those sell limit orders off of the books. We saw some more green, a little bit of consolidation for a second, more green, more green. This is what we want to see. Reds are going to happen. But when I got up to this thick block right here, okay, this thick red block, unlike here where we saw red, I saw green, and I was like, okay, I like that a lot. That's great news. And then there was more liquidity right above it. I saw this big green block. I wouldn't have seen this on the DOM. This is where the visual piece of Bookmap really, really helps me out. And guys, if you want to try this, there's a link down in the description. Get yourself a little bit of a discount if you want to try it out. It's been working for me. I've been now using it for 3 months. Now, here's what happened. We had this natural little pullback. Right after some buying pressure, we're going to see a little bit of a correction. And then, because of these greens, it continued to move where I thought it was going to move. Unlike here, no green through this liquidity, it popped back down this way, right? Now we see the difference, and this is just what screen time gets you. Green, green, a little bit of red, right back to green. Now here's where I got a little spooked. I had, if you remember on that chart, this was that 200 SMA. Now to say I don't use it for entries and exits, I don't. But I definitely pay attention to it as a possible place for support and resistance. We saw some green up here, and then all of a sudden, that pressure, it stopped. We don't see any more bubbles. Things slowed down. Liquidity slowed down. Volume slowed down. And I don't like when volume starts to drop, right? For these pushes and these breakouts above a previous swing high, we really want to see that volume. And I did not see that volume. And then all of a sudden, we see this big red. This red came on the books. So I had low volume, a huge block come on the books, and then the next thing I saw was a big red, and then boom, right to here, and this is where I exited the trade. All right, so that was a trade from here to here. It was the lack of volume and follow through on this break, this liquidity that popped up, as well as all of this that was already here, acting as huge resistance. Right, so I had all of this acting as resistance. I saw that red. That red was a little bit bigger than this pullback. Let me see. I'm drawing all of this thing. It looks like crazy, right? This is that. Oh gosh, that's not what I wanted. That was an eraser. I just erased the whole thing. This is starting to look like a meme. Screenshot this. Post the memes. Brad Finn's a loser. But we can see this red down here. That was a much smaller red than this, and that's why I got spooked out of the trade. But here's like a recap of all the ways that Bookmap helped me here. I saw nice pressure, buy pressure out. It helped me with my stop. It helped me say, okay, we're not doing exactly what we want, but kept me in the trade because of this downside liquidity and gave me faith because of all of this liquidity here that we could possibly reverse. Once I saw this consolidation, I was very, very happy. Boom. All these buyers popped up. If I was looking at the DOM, it would just be numbers flickering everywhere. And then we got to see green, 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 green through a block, green through a block, natural pullback right back to green. But then, just like it helped me stay in the trade, when I saw low volume, I saw blocks, I saw a red bubble. It helped me get out of the trade as well, guys. This is what I've been using on my screen every single day while I'm trading the topstep combine. Like I said, if you want to try the combine, you want to see if you're a good trader, it will tell you if you're a good trader. I think like 97% of people say that they are a better trader from going through a prop firm and trying something like topstep. And if you want to add this to your level 2s, you're more of a visual learner, guys, and you want to give Bookmap a try, consider clicking that link down below. It does help support the channel, as well as liking the video and subscribe if you are new here, guys. I will catch you in the next video.